In Nigeria, thousands of people are living with physical challenges as a result of road accidents, polio, diseases, and any other crisis. Some were born with these physical challenges. How has these physical challenges in children of school age affected their inclusion with their peers? This will be our focus on our discussion segment. We are going to look at physical challenges in children of school age, inclusion with peers. Welcome, this is Morning Safari. I am Amina Yusuf. And apart from our discussion segment, we have other complementary segments, such as the newspaper segment, where we'll be reading the headlines on our dailies. Our fitness is on how to encourage you to keep fit. The health segment is going to educate you on cavities, which is also known as tooth decay. And the background report that leads us to the discussion segment, entertainment, sport, and the children are not left out. Trust me, your Saturday morning promises to be quite educative. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Morning Safari, your breakfast Saturday morning magazine show, is available for your patronage. From all shades of opinion to exciting and exclusive interview of personalities, corporate bodies and organizations, for your business and social engagement, event coverage, product launch and rebranding, annual general meetings, we are at your beck and call. You can as well advertise and promote your business, commercial activities, hotel and tourism, entrepreneurship development, and many more are all at our services. Contact us today. The numbers to call are Bola 080-565-30106, Tony 080-349-71969, or visit us at our office, NTA Ilorin, along Fati Road, Ilorin. You can log on to our social streaming platform live on www.facebook.com/NTA Ilorin. Morning Safari, we serve you better.
Welcome back. It's time for our newspaper segment, and with me today is Favor Ejiro. Good morning, Favor.
Good morning.
All right, let's start with the Saturday Tribune. Above the masthead, Oyo Council of Obas backs Makinde's second term bid. This story can be found on page 25. I used my colleague's phone number in kidnapped threat letter because he demanded I paid back his 20,000 naira, says an Okada rider. The story can be found on page 8. And below the masthead, Abuja Kaduna train attack. Terrorists hold 21-year-old Christian lady for marriage, says the negotiator. Says commander is in love with her. 85-year-old victim, daughter, 2 others released. The story can be found on page 6. Foreign airlines to blacklist Nigeria by December. Nigerians will soon start flying out from neighboring countries. Ethiopian airline pilot slip off miss landing. The story can be found on page 4 and page 6. We will use Tinubu's slogans for politics, says Obasanjo. The story can be found on page 6. Uproars as government revoke licenses of AIT. 21 state-owned broadcast stations orders. The story can be found on page 7. And behind the Saturday Tribune, notes from Atlanta with Farouk Perogi as to call off the strike now. And on sports, presidential reception for Team Nigeria holds September 15. If you have interest in any of these headlines, get the Saturday Tribune.
On our Saturday Sun, article Wike Reconciliation Committee meets in Port Harcourt. Will resolve lingering issues. Nigerians waiting for us to take over. Fintiri, Mimiko. Obi meets Soludo in Anambra. That story can be found on page 28 and 30. And below the masthead, insecurity. Nigeria loses trillions. Economy in frightening situation. OPS. Amount owed by farmers, 500 billion naira. Divestment, $2.58 billion. Impact on GDP, $132.59 billion. Sit at home, 19.6 billion weekly. Kaduna train attacks. Kidnappers plan to marry off adopted lady. That story can be found on page 28 and 30. Woman, daughter, 6 others killed in Lagos church stampede. That story can be found on page 3. Editors, others kick as federal government revokes license of AIT, Raypower, Silverbird, 49 other broadcast stations. That story can be found on page 30. Ogun serial killer declared wanted by police. ASU strike, frustrated students, parents begged federal government, lecturers. That story can be found on page 23. And behind the Saturday Sun, Mike Awoyinfa press clips, letters, comments on the Nation's editorial. If you have any interest in the story, get the Saturday Sun.
And now to the Nation, above the masthead. Wike's supporters hold up PDP. If reconciliation fails, says Jerry Ghana. Fresh talks with Atiku camp, deadlock. The story can be found on page 5. And below the masthead, how Buhari rejected ASU's demand for 6 months' salary. Who compensates students if varsity teachers are paid for 6 months' salary for doing nothing, says Buhari to Minister. The story can be found on page 4. Princess Lare Fashola, why I sacrificed my marriage to serve Olokun goddess. The story can be found on page 21. Editors kicked as NBC shuts AIT, Silverbird, 50 other broadcast stations over non-payment of fines, non-renewal of licenses. This story can be found on page 2. Niger community, where Nigerian families dump loved ones afflicted with leprosy. Survivor speaks on battles with stigma. Story can be found on page 11. Train attack. Terrorists released oldest victim, daughter to others. As abductees plans to marry off 21-year-old hostage. The story can be found on page 2. Serial killer roams Ogun, targets women, says police. The story can be found on page 29. And at the back of the Nation, we have Shehu Ayobolu elimination, boss, Apa Okada rail, making NFF committees work. If you have interest in any of these headlines, get the Nation.
On this day, above the masthead, Buhari, wife rights of Igbena as funeral rites of this day publishers' mothers begin. Emir of Kano visits Owa Kingdom to condole Oba Igbena's family, says Unduka Oba Igbena is the greatest Nigerian he has met. That story is on page 5. Emir Fele orbits as e-Naira transactions hits 4 billion Naira with 200,000 deals in 10 months. That story is on page 10. And below the masthead, NPA generates 172 billion Naira revenue in first half of 2022. That story is on page 6. Buhari to military, take fight to doorsteps of insurgents, eliminate them. Direct humanitarian ministry to ensure safe returns of IDPs in Northeast. Troops rescue 4 kidnapped victims. Arrest 4 terrorists in Kaduna. That story is on page 5. Oil theft. Arrest of 3 million barrel capacity. Supertanker reflects scale of crisis. Navy confirms chasing suspicious vessel into Equatorial Guinea. Says crude oil ship feigned attack by sea pirates. 16 Indians, 8 Sri Lankans, 1 Pole, Filipino found abroad facility. Funeral rites of Princess Margaret Oba-Igbena. And behind this day, Akin Osuntokun of Awolowo, Abiola, and Obasanjo. And that, if you're interested in this day, get a copy of it.
And thanks to Oloyo Paper Stand for its consistency in supplying our dailies. And now to fitness. We are going to look at components and importance of physical fitness. So let's have it.
Good day, viewers. Welcome to fitness segment on Morning Safari. My name is Samuel Abraham Goodhead, and I'll be taking you on physical fitness. And at this moment, first of all, we need to know what is physical fitness. Okay, physical fitness is the ability to carry out daily activities without getting tired easily. It's generally about your well-being, about how your health. There's a word that says health is wealth. So basically, some people don't see need for exercises, for physical fitness. Knowing the things that are needed when doing exercises. And I will take you to the components of physical fitness. One of the components is balance, and balance has to do with how you get your stamina when during time for exercises, how you stable yourself during the time for exercise. And the next one, we have agility. Agility has to do with how you move your body quickly to do those exercises. And we also have time. Time helps you to know the duration of when you should do a particular exercise. And the next one, you have endurance. For you to have a proper exercise, you need to endure. Next, I'll take you to importance of physical fitness. First is it improves stamina. When you do the proper exercise that is needed, it keeps you fit. Second is it reduces the chances of injury. Third, it makes sports lively and enjoyable, and it helps to prevent minor and major illnesses like heart diseases, strokes. At times you find out that people don't do exercises. That's why they just concentrate on their daily activities and they don't do exercises to keep them active. I've given you some examples of the importance of physical fitness, and now we'll be going to the exercise itself, exercise proper, so you know how to do these major exercises to keep you fit. Seven, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, viewers, we've come to the end of fitness segment on Morning Safari. I hope you've learned a lot on this segment, how to keep yourself fit. The program Morning Safari continues.
And yet, the components and importance of physical fitness, and I hope you're educated with that feature. You're going to keep yourself fit. Fitness is the most important thing because it leads to a healthy life. And next is our health segment. We're going to educate you on cavities, also known as tooth decay.
A variant of malocclusion, it can also be called tooth decay or caries. It is a permanently damaged area in the hard surface of the teeth that develops into tiny openings or holes. This is often caused by a combination of factors including bacteria in the mouth, frequent snacking, sipping sugary drinks, and not cleaning mouth web. A consultant orthodontist in Dental Clinic UITH speaks further on cavities and its causes.
It's compulsory that you brush in the morning and in the evening. In fact, the evening is so important. What happens in the evening? You know, during the day we are producing saliva, and that saliva is helping us to cleanse our mouth. At night, you know, we are sleeping, there is a cooling of the saliva, so the effect of the saliva on cleaning the teeth is lost at night. That is one. Number two, food remnants that you are eating. You know, during the day, saliva helps to remove all those things. At night, they are stuck on the teeth, and the microorganisms, they love sweet things. They will now work on those, eat up all those food remnants, and leave all those remnants. The bacteria, the microorganisms in the mouth, they also like this kind of, especially sugary things or any food remnants. So they will feast on it, produce acid, lactic acid. And it's that acid that causes the cavities.
It is said that cavities are among the world's most common health problems, especially in the children, teenagers, and of course, older persons. Dr. Ennis gives a good demonstration on better ways to handle toothbrush when brushing in order not to sustain bleeding gums.
When you are feeling like this, you are wearing away the gum. And when you wear away the gum, the roots of the teeth will be showing, and you start having sensitivity. Some people say, when I take water, my teeth are sensitive. When air blows, it's sensitive. Yes, the sensitivity has caused because the gum has worn away by. So you have to open your mouth and then brush all the surfaces. You know, most people just brush these outer surfaces. They forget the inner surfaces. When you are brushing, you have to brush all the surfaces. When you are brushing this surface, you tilt your brush like this. Then all these inner surfaces. And then the grinding surfaces, where you are eating, you grind all these surfaces. For the lower two, the inner surfaces, you find that many people come to the clinic, everything here is very neat. But when they open their mouth and see these inner surfaces, they are neglected.
Signs and symptoms of cavities include toothache, spontaneous pain, tooth sensitivities, mild or sharp pain when taking hot or cold drinks, visible holes or teeth in the teeth, black or brown staining on the surface of the tooth, among others, black or brown staining on the surface of the tooth, among others. Dr. Ennis, however, speaks on how better cavities can be managed.
Like, for me, I have 2 cavities, and those cavities were filled, like one was 30 years ago, another 20 years ago. If I didn't fill them that time, I would have lost those things. So when children lose teeth, it's another big cause of malocclusion. You know, when you lose a tooth, what happens is that nature abhors vacuum. Like if you lose an upper tooth, the lower tooth will start moving to fill that space. The adjacent teeth will also start moving to fill that space. In moving, they become crooked. You know, parents should bring them early so that we advise them to be brushing. If you are brushing morning and evening, and then they are keeping away from all this refined carbohydrate, all this sweet. Well, if you cannot keep away, once you take it, you either brush or rinse your mouth every night. Make sure that the child brushes that when
If cavities are not treated, they become large and affect deeper layers of the teeth and lead to a severe toothache, infection, and tooth loss. Regular dental visits and good brushing habits are your best protection against cavity. Your tooth is in your hand. Moni Safari continues. If cavities are not treated, they become large and affect deeper layers of the tooth and lead to a severe toothache, infection, and of course, tooth loss. Regular dental visits and good brushing habits are your best protection against cavities. Your tooth is in your hand. Morning Safari continues.
Wow, that's cavities for you. You need to take care of your teeth to avoid tooth decay. Our health, our general body needs to be healthy. From the head all over your body, you need to take care of it so that you have a healthy life. Next is the children. The children segment is here. They are not left out. Get excited. We have a cartoon for you, a beautiful cartoon. So let's have it.
In a world where only cats were living, where the heroes ran in short supply, to a land so harsh and unforgiving, rode a hero, the blazing samurai. When one town was found to be in danger from the evildoers slipping by, coming for you! Bring it on, bandits!
I know these events look dire, but we must stand on our own four legs and fight. This is our home. It is the sacred place where our kittens were born, and where we will one day join our ancestors. In a shoebox buried behind the garage.
Dr. Katz, you have something to say?
No, I just got a hairball.
What we need is a samurai.
We still can't find the last one. We even put up posters.
What we need is a new samurai.
Not it!
Not it! No! Think! Where did we get our old samurai?
Samurais are us?
No! From the Shogun! So why don't we ask the Shogun to send us a new one?
Okay, I got it. Why don't we ask the Shogun to send us a new one? Huh?
Wait. Let's see. What's on the agenda today? Cat fights on the Western Front. Cat scratch fever breaking out in the East. What's this? Our sacred soil has been soiled by a dog who crossed the border? Probably a border collie. Fortunately, he's been apprehended. Oh, well, you break the law, you pay the price. It's not personal. It's just business. And you know what they say? There's no business like Shogun business. Well, spit it out. An urgent tweet from Kakamucho? Band is ravaging village. Stop. We need a new samurai. Stop. This reign of terror has to stop. Stop. Okay. Tell him I'll send someone right away. Marmalade. I need to make a call. Get me, what's his name?
I have Pikachu online,
good.
too.
Good, very good.
Hope our kids at home enjoying that cartoon. Stay with us next week for the continuation of the cartoon. And now to our discussion segment. But before you meet my guest, let's take a background report on the topic.
The school system had always separated children with physical challenges from their counterparts. without any form of disabilities. This trend has then promoted stigmatization of the former that limits their chances and opportunities as they are faced with inferiority complex. Having observed the shortcomings brought about by this trend, stakeholders are then advocating for inclusiveness of those disabled children in schools with peers without challenges. By this, it is proposed that the physically challenged children attend the same school with normal students.
We discovered that there is a kind of segregation between children who are apparently normal and those who are living with disability. And it's high time we take away the segregation and also ensure that we remove stigmatization against people who are living with disability on the general note. By including children with disability with those who are apparently normal, this, in a way, will give them some level of social inclusion, and also we encourage both the parents and also the future generation of the importance of including those who are living with disabilities.
In another development, Mr. Vincent Ugo speaks on the contrary.
We ask the child to mix up with their peers that are mentally and physically okay. It will go two ways. Number one is, the first way is that one might think that they can learn faster when mixing with their peers. Because when they see what those ones are doing, they tend to pick up whatever they are doing. But that is not always the case. Sometimes we have to look at the developmental age. So if you put them in a place where they can learn together, just like children with sensory disorder. Children with sensory disorder, you have to put them in an environment that they will learn better. If you put them in a place where their peers of the same physical status, you see them learning better. So I think the best thing for them is to organize a place for them where they will be together, where things will be done at their own levels so that they will be able to pick up and grow accordingly.
In essence, youths will be included in the school activities attended by their peers. One of the advantages of this dimension is that it encourages students or learners with disabilities to have the same roles and experiences as their peers who do not have a disability during physical education and their physical activities. Experts spoke on the necessity of the inclusiveness of those children into the same schools with their peers.
If children are well taught right from when they are young, then means that in the future we have a society that will be good for all, including those who are living with disabilities. This will help us in the future.
While advocating for inclusiveness of children with physical disabilities in schools with peers, there is also a need to consider the place of the education policy on the issue. But all efforts to speak with the government official proved abortive. Whatever the stand of the experts in education policy on inclusiveness of children with physical challenges in school with peers involved in academic isolation cannot help them to their fulfillment. Measure has to be taken to mend their ways.
Welcome back from that report. It's time for you to meet my guest, Dr. Mrs. Zainab Abdurrahman. She's from the Department of Physiotherapy, University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital. Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to Morning Safari.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to the topic of the day, physical challenges in children of school age, inclusion with their peers. When we talk about physical challenges, how do you know one is physically challenged?
Well, it's all has to do with disability. Okay. As we all know, within our community, people with disability are increasing at alarming rates.
Yes.
And disability is just the interaction between a person's health condition and his personal and environmental factor. So at a particular time in life, every one of us experiences some degree of disability. Okay. So it's also an umbrella term that actually defines impairments, activity, and participation. Impairment in the sense that impairment is something that affects our body, structure, and then the function it carries out. activity is what we do with our body parts, So in activity limitation, it's when those parts of our body are unable to perform a certain task. That's activity limitation. Now participation is how we interact in our daily life, in our environment, our work, our schools, and everything. So when there's restriction in participation, it now exemplifies those things that restricts us from participating in our life situations.
Okay. All right, in our present school system, we find out that the school challenge children are separated from their parents. What informs this?
Well, I think basically it would be a lack of information. Maybe within the community, we do not have information about what the person that lives with disability is capable of. The children are not sensitized about what their peers can do. Some parents might not even want their children to be in the same classes with those children that might have disabilities. So it all boils down to a lack of information. Yeah, so advocacy is the main key. Educate people about the capabilities of
physical challenge kids. Okay, maybe that's why now we are having this advocacy for inclusiveness.
Yes,
you want this physical challenge children to be included with their peers in school. So what brought about this advocacy now? Why are we having it now? Why now?
Yeah, it really is not new because the world now, we all know, is a global village. And what happens elsewhere, we're able to see. And even these parents of these children are able to see. And they know that their children should be able to enjoy certain privileges, which is not available here. And this inclusion is not something that is new. It's something that is available in other countries, and they have seen positives of them. So we also, in Nigeria as physiotherapists, we want to see the children that we treat in our clinics progressing and making something of themselves. So we're helping, advocating for inclusion for those children.
So are you telling us with the inclusion with other peers, make them feel okay, feel among, feel they are okay?
It actually increases their self-confidence. It boosts up their self-confidence, improves their behavior. You know that some of them, because of isolation and deprivation, they tend to be aggressive. So mixing with their peers actually improves their behavior, improves their self-confidence, and they are more aware of their strengths.
We know how kids tend to behave. Are you going to educate the other kids on how to relate with their physical challenged peers? Are you going to educate them?
Yes, basically, all this deprivation, isolation will have to be counteracted by education. And starting up inclusive education will actually make them grow up together, make friends with each other, understand each other's limitations, and then realize that even though this child might not be as complete as I am, he also has the kind of abilities that I have, and I can even get something from him. So they actually are able to interact with each other, and eventually even our community becomes more inclusive and integrated, and as they grow, they give us a better community, and we have more productive people up there at the top of the ladder.
Yes, that means their physical challenge has no limit. It can't limit them from achieving what they want to become.
Yes, not all of them. There are some that might have physical and mental challenges together. And then there are some that just have physical challenges and they don't have mental challenges, and they can be educable. So most of those ones, we want to harness their abilities and channel it. And that is what the teachers also gain from.
What about parents? I'll bring a story. There's a parent that has a physical challenge child and a child that is complete fit, if I should use that word. And the physical challenge child tends to be more intelligent, I'll use that word. He comes first all the time in school. And the other brother was using, how can you be first when you're not as complete as me? What do you expect the parent to do to educate the other child, not to use
those words
on that child?
Yes. Even from how the child has shown to be more intellectually, they should be able to encourage the child to show that, to tell him that it's not a person's physical challenge does not translate him into having a mental challenge, you understand? So it might be that he has a physical challenge, but intellectually he has shown that his learning abilities are better than your own. So why don't you struggle to be as good as him or even better, instead of trying to bring him down.
That means parents have a lot to do.
The parents have a lot to do.
Don't even care to even check on those kids. They feel since they have a school challenge child, oh, it's a minus. So they concentrate on the other kids.
That's why we are saying that they should not isolate them. They should bring them out.
Yes.
When you give birth to a child, look at him. Monitor and see if he has a challenge. If he does, take him to the hospital. Let them see. If they need us as physiotherapists, they will send them to us. And when we have gotten them to a particular level of movement and mobility, we will advise you if they are children that can actually be educated, we'll advise you to send them to school.
So with that, I'll come to this. How will you know as a parent that your child has a problem that will lead to a physical challenge? How do you know? What do you need to see?
You look at the growth chart as they grow. Probably you compare them with their peers. Or then if they are not the first, you compare them with the previous one and see, are they attaining their milestones at the appropriate time? Did this child gain control at 3 months? Was he able to sit at 6 months? Or is he able to walk at between 1 year and 1 year 3 months? If he's not able to do all those things, then you need to go to the hospital and have him checked out to see, does he have any challenge that is stopping him from being able to attain all of this?
Okay. Wow. That means the parents have a lot to do. It actually starts from the home to try to combat this problem.
Yes, it does.
But then the teachers.
Yes.
So what do you encourage the teachers to do when you have a student in the class that is school challenge with its other peers, since we are advocating for inclusiveness?
Yes.
What is supposed to do as the teacher? What can he do to make sure that the other peers in the class do not affect him?
The most important thing is for the teacher to be optimistic that what he's teaching, you have to have the hope and give the child the hope that what he's teaching is something that the child can learn. You understand? Because I'm sorry to say that our teachers now, a lot of them do not have the knowledge for special education. So most of the time, they are not able to accommodate these children into the classes. And the curriculum too is also too rigid and is not allowing for children that might have less cognitive abilities to be included into the, So these are barriers that inclusive education are facing. We need to make our curriculum a little bit more relaxed, that those people that have some challenges, even though they will be working at the same level of curriculum as the other children in their peers, things can be made a little simpler for them. Adaptations can be made for them to be able to meet up with the peers.
So what do you think as an expert and physiotherapist? I think this has to do with both physiotherapists and the teachers. What is your stand on inclusive education?
Inclusive education is a positive. It's something that should happen. And because we have seen patients, children that have come to us as patients, we have trained them to the level of their ability. We have given them assistive devices to be able to make them mobile so that they can participate in community activities. So at this point, we want them to have the basic education with their peers so that these peers will know that these children are not different from us. Those things that we can do, they can also do, and they can have an integrative community as they grow older.
All right. Our educational policies, does it speak on inclusive education?
Yes, I think so. I came across our policy, a national policy on inclusive education, where it says that a child, irrespective of his physical challenge, it has a right to a structured, qualitative and functional basic education.
So there's an advocacy for that, educational policies, but it's not been implemented.
It's the implementation.
So what can we push? How can we push them to implement this so that these kids will feel among?
Implementing inclusive education, it does not require too much. I think the government should realize that the schools that we have on ground can be modified to accommodate these children. Our teachers can be trained more to help them be able to handle these children. So it's not like we're asking for new structures. We're asking that these things that are available on ground should be upgraded. Let's have ramps in the school. Let's have even floors so that children that will have to work with aids will not fall. Let's have teachers that know how to empathize with children, teachers that can be optimistic, teachers that know how to read braille, that can, those things, the assistive aids that the child with disability will need. Teachers that can handle and make them have participatory classes. Teachers that can create group sessions between children with disability and apparently normal children so that they can grow up as friends and learn from each other.
That means the expert needs extra effort to put in place to achieve this.
Yes.
So I would like you to finally speak to our teachers, the physiotherapists, and the parents on the need to include these children with their peers so that they'll feel, okay, I'm in a good society. Actually, I'm part of the society.
Okay. As physiotherapists, first and foremost, I think that when we treat these children and we get to the point where we have been able to make them mobile enough, let's send them to school. Let's advise the parents that these children are educable and they can be sent to school with their peers, not to special schools where they are segregated. Let them go in there and let these children that are apparently healthy and do not know about them know that our community is diverse and we have others that have the same abilities, but physically they are different from us, but we have the same ability. For teachers, let's be optimistic in our teaching. Let's not bring down anybody. Let's try to teach them all together and believe that all of them will understand. And let's be extra cautious with those children, and let's give them, if we have to, one-on-one learning and all those aids that they might need to make them learn. Let's learn to teach them with different learning styles, because some of them might learn visually, some of them might be kinesthetic learners, and some of them might just read and write. So let's do that. And then the parents, check your child. If you notice any problem, go to the hospital. Let us check this child out so that will help you, tell you what to expect in life.
Thank you very much. I've been speaking with Dr. Mrs. Zainab Abdurrahman from the Department of Physiotherapy, University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital. You've had her. Extra effort is needed to include these children with their pets. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Morning Safari, your breakfast Saturday morning magazine show, is available for your patronage. From all shades of opinion to exciting and exclusive interview of personalities, corporate bodies and organizations. For your business and social engagement, event coverage, product launch and rebranding, annual general meetings, we are at your beck and call. You can as well advertise and promote your business commercial activities, hotel and tourism, entrepreneurship development, and many more are all at our services. Contact us today. The numbers to call are Bola 080-565-30106, Tony 080-349-71969, or visit us at our office, NTA Ilorin, along Fatih Road, Ilorin. You can log on to our social streaming platform live on www.facebook.com/NTA Ilorin. Morning Safari, we serve you better.
Welcome back from that break, and we're still on school challenges and children of school age inclusion with their pets. And finally, let me ask you the question. Now that we're advocating that school challenged children be mixed up with their pets, what happens to the pace of learning and teaching compared to the conventional school rotation curriculum? What happens to them? How will they fit into the pace?
Nothing happens to the curriculum.
Okay.
Mostly we have for inclusive education, there are two major, you either try to accommodate them or you modify.
Okay.
So in accommodating them, the teachers teach them using different learning styles. Maybe they might use pictures for visuals. They might use audio for this person that cannot write. They might use, and even in writing their tests, they can give them larger prints for that person that cannot see properly. You understand? So you accommodate their needs within the same curriculum. Then in modifying, there are some children that actually might have more cognitive disability than others. The curriculum is not changed, but they might use books that have simpler structured language. They will have to have their own special books, you understand?
Yeah.
So, but the content of the book and the content of the regular is the same, but then they have less structured English, as a simpler structured English in their own books that will make them understand better. So the curriculum is still intact, but it is not rigid.
Yeah.
It is allowed, there is flexibility, yes, to meet the needs of each child. Understand?
Thank you very much for coming to Morning Safari.
You're welcome,
Thank you.
madam.
I hope next I will call upon you obligers.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I've
you
been
so
speaking
much.
with Dr. Mrs. Zainab Abdurrahman from the Department of Physiotherapy, University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital, and you've had her. Let's include these children let's have them. They are all the same, no matter the school challenges they have. So that they feel that in a good society, in a better society, so that the education will be smooth and fast. Next on our lineup is entertainment with Favor Ejiro.
It won't be long, it will be all. When I woke up this morning, looking at myself, it feel like say I'm shining. See the blessings multiplying, just like the birds in the sky I'm flying. So divining, we inclining, take it from me, as the good things are finding. It be okay, call me one day, make we say cool, like this smiling. Hey, no retreat, no surrender. Don't you give up the fight, you're the winner. Easy, it's gonna get easy. Hey, don't you back down, people stand up. If you know you go win, put your hands up. Easy, it's gonna get easy. Just hold on and be strong. It won't be long, we go be alright. Just hold on and be strong. It won't be long, it's gonna be alright. Anyone talk say you know go make 'em alive. Hey, on them make you get up for your glory. Just try. Hey, no forget say na Papa God give you this life. No let anything to stop you from going so high. See, it doesn't matter what you do or what you into. You have to believe in yourself and be true. Easy, it's gonna get easy. So don't forget where you're coming from and where you are going. No pain, no gain, keep going. Easy.
Hello and welcome to the entertainment segment on Morning Safari. I am Ejiro Favor. Today I'll be taking you on a trip to the entertainment world, and I'm going to leave you gawking with laughter and of course to have a rethink. But before then, let's take a short break. Welcome back from that short break. If you are just joining us, you aren't late at all. And so our first story for today, why Nigerians who return from abroad say there's no place like home, comedian Akororo. When we travel away from home, we get to miss home. We also have this popular saying, there is no place like home. Akororo said this, and I quote, anytime you see a Nigerian who just came back from abroad and he says there is no place like home, my brother, he doesn't have money. Well, that's what Akororo has to say on that, although it's just there to make you laugh. Don't let it get to you. And so our next story for today, why people are rapidly going broke. Actress Eukarya Anunobi. Following every fashion, trend, or group without questioning it or their motive makes you a simpleton. Do you know why you are broke? You spend the money that you don't have to buy the things that you don't need, to impress the people that you don't like. Neither do they like you in return. You invest in business of things that you don't understand. You buy things that will harm your health. You gamble or fall for get-rich-quick schemes. Eukarya Anunobi has said it all. Please, what is enough for the wise? And do not forget that health is wealth. And our last story for today, Mercy is blessed. In the past 2 weeks, Mercy Chinwo and Obi, Blessed Uzochukwu, has been giving us back-to-back pictures of their marriage ceremony. And I'm here to take you right back to where it started. You remember when Blessed announced that Mercy was his sister? It wasn't a big deal to anyone until he announced the engagement. Whoa. Just Nigerians, they won't let this slide. They have to dig deep. That video was trending. And before we knew it, it was their court marriage. Whoa. Before we know it, they announced their pre-wedding ceremony. And just when we thought they were resting, they did their traditional marriage. And when I wanted to go back, I was asleep thinking it was over. I heard the sound of, "Here comes the bride, here comes the groom." I woke up. Wow, Messi was walking down the aisle, dripping glory. Love is a beautiful thing, and they are currently on their honeymoon in London. And don't forget that I am going to let you know when the good news comes. I bet you know what I'm talking about. And that will be all on entertainment for today. I am Ejiro Favor. And for more spontaneous stories from the world of sports, stay glued to your TV.
Welcome to your favorite breakfast show, Man Safari. I am Alfred Ugwemi. And our lineup for stories for today: Manchester City have confirmed the signing of Spanish left-back Sergio Gomez from Belgian club Anderlecht. The Premier League champions were in need of a full-back after allowing Alexander Shishako to join Arsenal in a deal worth €32 million. City will pay an initial €11 million fee for the 21-year-old, with the potential for the price to rise further in unspecified add-ons. Atletico Madrid may be obligated to pay Barcelona €40 million to sign Antonio Griezmann at the end of the season, but the club is open to lower the amount. According to reports, the clause will trigger if Griezmann plays 45 minutes in half for the club matches, but Atletico does not want to trigger the clause. The club might not use Griezmann as a starter this season in an effort to avoid triggering the clause. Newly promoted Premier League side Nottingham Forest are closing in on signing Wolves attacking midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White. According to reports, Wolves have already accepted Forest's offer of €25 million upfront and €7 to €10 million in add-ons for the English youngster. The total deal could go up to a maximum of €42 million, and that will be all on sports for the week. I am Alfred Ugwemi.
Welcome back, and you've heard it from the entertainment. Eukaria told you, be yourself, don't impress anybody. Live the life you can afford. Don't impress anybody, or don't be broke because of anybody. And to the topic of the day, despite they have physical challenges, this has not affected their capabilities. So, inclusive education is a yes. Let's show them love. From me, I'm Mina Yusuf. Enjoy the rest of your day.